Around 8 months ago, I purchased this 32-inch OLED LG monitor. It had awesome reviews, and frankly, I wanted to test it out with a number of different builds, different PCs that I was crafting in with a load of different specs, including the latest GPUs, like the 5090, for example, and lesser ones. I wanted to get an idea of what the monitor was like to use and to be able to talk about the experience across a number of different builds and show how we got on with it. So obviously it's a 4K display and a really interesting one, able to run up to 240 Hz at 4K or potentially up to 480 Hz with the dual mode, which puts it into 1080p, giving you a faster refresh rate. It also has 0.03 millisecond response time, NVIDIA G-SYNC, AMD FreeSync Premium Pro, and other highlights that we'll get to as we go through. But what was striking to me, as you can see from a number of different games, is just how vivid the display is. Obviously, it's difficult to do this justice, capturing it on camera and then you watching it on whatever device you're watching on. But this is a fantastic monitor. My experience has been that it's great across a number of different games. The dark areas of maps are really dark. The bright parts are really bright. It's really vivid in terms of the colors, and the pop of the screen is very eye-pleasing in a number of ways. Now, I was concerned, as most people are, with burn-in over time, but I'm happy to report that after using it for the last 8 months, I haven't had any issues. I've used it for long gaming sessions and short ones, and as you can see, a load of different games, all running at 4K, all running at maximum graphics, and obviously I've been playing to make the most of this. Now, the other thing that's interesting, the other thing you'll note is this is recorded a lot of the time in very bright lighting conditions, in broad daylight, and with a lot of video lights on as well, to obviously capture the environment and what I'm trying to portray in the video. In this case, mostly it's usually cases, but obviously also showing the monitor off and talking about that. And yet you can still see just how bright it is. It shines nicely. It's really bright and vivid and very striking. I am certainly not disappointed with my purchase. It was a lot of money. I did pay well over £1,000 for it. It's probably a little bit more affordable now, and there will no doubt be newer models coming out as well. But I've been very impressed with it. I've had no issues with burn-in. I've not seen any issues with the screen getting burn-in problems. And obviously it does have that OLED Care setup on it that's designed to help clean the image and keep it fresh. Good thing about this is it actually works when you turn the monitor off, so it isn't constantly nagging you, warning you that you need to do this process. I've seen that with other OLED monitors that I've tested, so it's nice to not have that warning here. You can just game away happily, and then eventually when you turn it off, it will do that pixel refresh that these monitors do, and then it will be clean again and there won't be an issue. Obviously, if you've got a static image on there constantly and all the time over a very long period of time, it might be a problem. I can't speak to that. All I can say is I haven't had any issues with it, and you can see it's been running really nicely. Now, that said, obviously 4K monitor is still going to be problematic to push unless you're playing lesser games or you want to take advantage of that full HD 480 Hz refresh rate. You are going to need to make sure you've got a good system to game with. So I've tested a variety of different GPUs, as you've seen in this setup, and obviously if you've got something pretty high-end, then it's not a problem to get a good FPS count out of it. But it is a struggle with lesser systems, and I'll show you that as we get into it a bit later on. But as you'll see from all these different shots from different angles, it's got great viewing angles. The experience is really smooth as well. The gaming is really smooth on it, thanks to that fast refresh rate and the fast response time as well. The G-SYNC compatibility FreeSync setup also means it's just a great experience, and all these different games. And you can see the thing that struck me the most, especially with the finals footage and any of these footage with games where the colors really pop and it's really vivid. It's really just pops out at you how much color there is and just looks so much nicer than the standard non-OLED monitor that I usually use for editing and testing. So this was a nice upgrade to that. It is, however, a very flat monitor, so it's a complete flat screen. There's no curve to it, which is a bit weird for me after testing previous curved monitors, but not really an issue. It's 32 inches, it's nice and large. You can put it nicely on the desk and get a good view of everything. And it's obviously a 4K display, which you can set to 240 Hz. I've been using HDMI for testing here, and obviously go into the Windows settings, set it to 240 Hertz, and you can go into NVIDIA's control panel and set up G-SYNC in there and enable that as well. And then there are various different controls on the monitor itself, which you can access with the little control stick, which doubles as the power button at the back. And it's a very simple interface, really easy to use. The standard one just allows you to change between various different game settings, and then you can dive into this deeper setting that you can see here. From that, you can change into dual mode if you want to. So if you play competitive shooters and you want to put the screen into 1080p resolution with a higher hertz refresh rate, you can do that. I personally didn't, because I bought it for 4K. I wanted to play at 4K, and that was the idea of pushing all the systems that I've been testing. So I was stuck with the standard mode. You also have a number of other things in here: VRR, black stabilizer, on-screen crosshair, on-screen FPS counter, various little things that you might want or might not want. I didn't bother with the FPS counter because you can obviously get that from Steam or through NVIDIA or Afterburner, and then a number of other things that you can adjust. Now, I found I didn't have to tweak the settings. I didn't have to play around with the color settings or the picture settings. Out of the box, it just looks fantastic. All the shots you've seen were basically with the default settings on. In terms of sound, it's got some fairly decent speakers in it, which I'll let you hear a test of later on. DTS Virtual X, and also you can obviously connect up other inputs to it. It has USB pass-through, for example, so you can plug things into that pretty easily. There are some other things here as well. You can see the OLED image cleaning settings, so you can actually manually put this on if you want to go through the restoration process, or it'll default when you turn it off. And then you've got hexagon lighting, which is at the back. Now, this is a gimmick and completely pointless. It's not bright enough to light up the wall behind it, for example, so you can't really see it. I couldn't notice it during my testing period. It's barely there, but I'm just going to flip the monitor around so you can see what it looks like. Here it is set to red. You just get some red accents around there. Completely pointless in my setup with it against the wall. You don't really see anything from it, so there's very little benefit of having that on. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, as I said, FPS can be an issue depending on what game you're playing. You can see Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 here. I was only getting about 46 FPS. Now, this is on a pretty low-end GPU, an Intel one. Got a different experience, obviously, with the Astral 5090, getting much closer to 100 FPS. Same game settings, max settings, ultra settings on this game, much higher FPS count with the Astral GPU over the Intel one. A lot more expensive graphics card. So if you want to make the most of this monitor, you're going to need to spend a lot of money on a really good gaming PC in order to do so. The other thing is productivity, obviously general day-to-day use. I did do video editing on it. As you can see, the editor was nice and large, and here's plenty of room and space to be able to edit easily. I missed the productivity of having two displays, I'll be honest. It's not as easy to flick between different screens on a 32-inch versus the 49-inch that I normally use. But as you can see, it's really clear if you want to preview the video, and during the editing of the timeline, it was really easy. It just looks great and is perfect for this as well. I didn't have any problems with that either. So lots of goodness going on here, and a really nice setup for all my needs, whether it's gaming or whatever else. In terms of the initial setup of the monitor as well, I wanted to cover that briefly because it is really easy to do. Open the box and you'll get access to the back of the monitor. From there, you can see we've got two HDMI ports, one display port, and the USB pass-through cables that I was talking about. So you've got pass-through cables for that, so you can plug things into it, like a monitor or mouse connected directly to it, for example. And then you'll see that little power button, which is the menu button at the back at the bottom there as well. That's the only control. Very straightforward and easy to use there. You then connect the monitor arm to the rear, and it's worth noting this is also VESA mountable according to LG. Not something I did, so I can't speak to what that's like, but apparently it is mountable using that area, or alternatively you just use the stand as I'm doing, and it is a nice solid stand. I haven't had any problems with the monitor wobbling around under use on the desk either, so it's nice and solid there. As you can see, takes up quite a bit of room, but it does look good. Now I'll leave you a sound test of the speakers and what they were like, and let me say that they're loud enough that my wife was complaining from downstairs that I was being too loud, which is a testament to how good they are. Fairly surprising for the slimness of the monitor, and to see speakers that are that decent. Obviously not as good surround sound as using your headphones or a full surround sound system, but pretty good audio nonetheless, and certainly impressed me. Let me know in the comments what you think, and check out the links in the description to find out more about it, and thanks very much for watching.
Long crest into 6 left, tightens past junction 30. crest. Don't cut 5 left. Opens long into 6 left. 30. 4 right long. Tightens over crest. 50.
You've made it right to the end of the video, you brilliant legend you. If you've enjoyed it, click that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and drop me a comment down below if you've got any questions. If you really enjoyed it, consider joining the channel and see the benefits of doing so. Check out these other videos. You might well find them interesting or useful. And most importantly, have a great life.